Greetings, everyone. I'm Simran Kaur from Voice of Healthcare. We are thrilled to kick off the second episode of Diabetes Dialogues. And we have a special guest with us today, Mr. Sahil Pruthi, the brains behind Livofy. Livofy has been making waves in the diabetes management ecosystem, and we are here to pick Mr. Pruthi's brain on all things related to managing diabetes. Get ready for an insightful conversation as we navigate the world of diabetes care. We welcome you.
Thank you so much for having me as a part of this discussion, Simran. And super excited to be sharing my learnings that I've had working with clients at Livofy. So yeah.
It's an honor. It's an honor. To start with, we'll just kick things off in the session. I would want to understand what kind of role does diet, exercise, and sleep play when it comes to diabetes management? Like, what's your perspective? If you could go over each of the aspect briefly.
Yeah, I think all the three pillars that you mentioned about, right, play a very significant role in management of diabetes overall, whether it is diabetes, sleep, or stress. So, we call the future of healthcare primarily to be personalized and integrative, which means that the standard of care which the doctor is prescribing has to be complemented with the three pillars, which is nutrition, sleep, and stress. The right nutrition, which could primarily be having foods that don't spike up your blood sugar very significantly and very frequently. It's very important, which kind of makes sure that you don't have a high enough insulin resistance that can be one of the major causes of diabetes happening in the first place, right? That is one, and whether with regards to the right kind of sleep and stress as well, sleep management as well. Having very low amount of sleep on a consistent basis can also contribute to significant stress in the body overall, which can result in increased inflammation and can be a contributor towards aggravation of diabetes and its symptoms as well. So, making sure that one takes at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep on a consistent basis is very important. And obviously, regularly exercising also burns a lot of body fat on a regular basis, and lowering your rate of obesity on a regular basis is also very important. For somebody who's maybe going through pre-diabetes or diabetes, we recommend that they at least go for a 15 to 30 minute walk to lose that extra body fat, to lower the overall stress levels or cortisol levels in the body, and making sure that usual mobility also kind of regulates the blood sugar levels as well, right? So all three P's play a very integral role in diabetes management, and should be kind of worked on a regular basis. But having said that, we've after having worked with a significant number of clients, we typically recommend that nutrition is one of the more pivotal pillars, not undermining the other two, but if anybody has to start, nutrition would play as much as maybe 75-80% as a contributing factor to management of diabetes through integrative care. So yeah.
Right. Thank you, Sahil. Moving on, personalized coaching is also gaining traction when it comes to diabetes management.
Yeah.
So, how do you see this trend shaping the industry, and what are the benefits that it can offer when you compare it with any traditional approach?
Yeah, I think personalized coaching is very critical in management of diabetes in general, right? Because one is that every body is very different. If I probably give you an example that a person might be pre-diabetic, can be type 2 diabetic or type 1 diabetic, right? They might have different meal preferences, blood markers, insensitivities or intolerances, number of meals that they want to have, right? So a person's nutrition plan, supplementation plan, sleep plan, exercise plan has to be very personalized basis. All the weighing in all the parameters that exist for a person, so that it's not just giving them a diet, but also making sure it sustains for them, right? So these are things that need to be personalized for and need to be kind of incorporated, which can only be incorporated through the right kind of personalized coaching, right? And more importantly, different foods spike up different blood sugar very differently, right? So, for example, wheat might be very good for you as a food because it moderately spikes up your blood sugar levels, but might not be very nice for me because it spikes up my blood sugar level very differently, right? So, the kind of blood sugar response that the same food product has is very different, which is where personalized coaching and diabetes management kind of plays its part, right? So whether it's person's body parameters, meal preferences, and also whether it's how much a blood sugar, how much a food product is spiking up the blood sugar level varies so much. It makes personalized coaching all the more important, basically, right? This is why I feel that this trend is only is only here to stay, and not just here to stay, but it's of integral value for people who live to manage their diabetes. So yeah.
So you mentioned about the diverse populations, especially in a country like India. So it's important for diabetes management platforms to address these cultural preferences as well. So what are the strategies that can be adopted for to ensure this kind of inclusivity?
Yeah, I think inclusivity has to happen not just at a location level, but an age level, the kind of lifestyle a person leads, right? So for example, a working professional will have a very different meal preference compared to somebody who's self-employed, and the self-employed person will have a very different lifestyle compared to somebody who maybe is a housewife or a homemaker in general, right? So we have to kind of, the preferences might vary in terms of how frequently a person goes out to eat, right? The preferences might vary in terms of, a North Indian might have a preference or inclination towards having a paratha as a meal in their breakfast, whereas somebody in the South who has South Indian food would probably prefer maybe an idli for their breakfast, right? So all these parameters need to be weighed in while the personalization needs to happen. It can either happen manually, or it can happen by building certain kind of rules or leveraging artificial intelligence to personalize the care protocol, basically, right? So a healthcare coach should either take in details in a detailed manner through a form and build certain rules, or understand a personal requirement or leverage AI to be able to personalize the care protocol, right? Either of the two can be good approaches. So, yeah.
So, access to healthcare resources can also vary widely, so, how to address the challenges of providing effective diabetes management in regions when
Uh,
it comes to, limited access of medical facilities?
Simran, we were talking about technological advancements. I think that was the question where things got interrupted. So you might want to resume from there.
1 second, please. All right. With the rise of digital health tools, we were talking about digital health tools.
No, we were talking about, like, can you talk about any
Actually, you were in the middle of that answer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was saying
and
that,
things got disrupted.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'll put this question first, and then maybe we can go back to where we left.
fair.
Okay, so we'll start again. Uh, you know, healthcare access, when we talk about the access to healthcare resources, we see a challenge of providing effective diabetes management in regions with limited access of medical facilities. So how do we ensure that, healthcare reaches the less developed as well?
I think it boils down to leveraging technology primarily, Simran. So, leveraging telemedicine or digital health is a great way to kind of reach out to outskirts where it's hard to kind of provide the kind of personalized care that people in tier one or higher side of tier two cities and states are able to get access to, right? So, leveraging apps like Livofy, leveraging digital health or telemedicine is a great way to kind of provide more access to diabetes management in general. And second is, and a major problem that we've also begun to realize, that especially in places where um, uh, personalization, people are not do not have a certain paying propensity as well. Leveraging self-help or AI-driven solutions could be a great way for them to kind of at least get access to quality healthcare at lower cost, right? So one is optimizing for outreach, and second is optimizing for cost, right? And leveraging technology in the former, and specifically AI in the latter is a great way to kind of reach the outskirts, right? And third thing I would say is that what we're also beginning to feel is that leveraging homemade foods as much as possible for diabetes management is the best way to kind of manage it, because it makes things more scalable, especially in outskirts where you might not get fancy foods in the first place. So leveraging homemade recipes or foods in general can help you go a long way, basically, right? So these are three things that I would kind of recommend for somebody looking to manage their diabetes in the outskirts of the country in general.
Yes, Sahil. So we also spoke about technology, and there's a rise in digital health tools. So how do you see technology shaping the future of diabetes management? Any specific sort of innovation that you would want to talk about that could maybe impact in improving the overall care?
I think one of the things, in overall digital health, I feel that an ecosystem-driven approach is going to be the way forward for somebody looking to manage their diabetes. Which is, as you rightly put in your first question, was that what are the different pillars of managing diabetes beyond the standard of care, right? So, somebody getting a platform where they can manage their nutrition, which is diet, sleep, stress, exercise, and medication, all of them on one platform, and being able to build sustainable habits while doing so is what I feel is the way forward. And second is, I feel that the role of artificial intelligence in personalization of care, modification of care is going to be critical as well, right? Which I see kind of really picking up pace in the digital health space going forward, right? So an ecosystem driven approach with leveraging AI to personalize care protocol is what I feel is going to be the way forward. So yeah.
Right. One question when it comes to Livofy, managing diabetes is a long term commitment. So, how does Livofy provide ongoing support?
Yeah. So, Simran, we specifically work on very holistic healing for somebody looking to manage their diabetes. We focus on providing them holistic and support, and we have certified nutritionists on our panel. We have doctors on our panel who kind of work with our patients in not just helping them with the right medication, but right nutrition and supplementation that they can use to be able to manage their diabetes and any other comorbidities that would have come with it. And we modify their protocol in the right manner, and we monitor their blood sugar levels on a regular basis. And most importantly, once they actually achieve the results, we also make sure that the results stay and sustain in the long run. Basically, right? So we also focus on sustainability, right? So people don't just get a diet plan per se, but they get a lifestyle change, which is in turn a sustainable habit for them while they work with us. So yeah.
Right. So, one key message or any tip for the general public and our viewers who are watching this awareness session?
Yeah, I think one thing that I would tell to people is, if it's the young viewer who's watching this, I would recommend that prevention is better than cure. I think it's an old saying, but it's easier said than done. So make it, our world is surrounded with things, uh, whether it is ordering food online, access to everything, everything unhealthy or junk is just a click away. Try and make sure that you educate yourself about nutrition and supplementation so that you don't fall prey to chronic diseases like diabetes or thyroid, PCOS in the first place. Because once you get stuck, it does take a lot of work to kind of achieve remission. So try and make sure you educate yourself about the right nutrition practices, educate yourself about different foods that are going in your body, packaged foods. Try and get yourself in a habit of reading food labels so you know what's actually in the food product, so that you don't need us in the first place. And second is that people who are diabetics, especially now, you need to know that it's not like the end of the world if you kind of adopt the right kind of lifestyle, nutrition, supplementation that complements your standard of care. Small changes in your lifestyle can go a long way and can actually help you achieve remission and sustenance of it, right? So focus on a holistic care, and I'm sure you can kind of reach the end of the road where you have normalized blood sugar and HbA1c markers. So yeah.
Thank you, Sahil. Um, and that's a wrap for the session of Diabetes Dialogues. A big thanks to you, Mr. Sahil Pruthi, for giving us a peek into the world of diabetes management. Let's keep this conversation going, share the knowledge, and work towards a future where diabetes is not a hurdle but a manageable aspect of life. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Simran. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Uh, One more thing, I would just go over the fourth question now so that you can answer that because we were in the middle of the fourth question. So I'll go over that and we'll edit it out. Okay, Sahil, so considering the diverse populations that are there in India, how important is it for diabetes management platforms to address the cultural preferences when it comes to treatment approaches and how to ensure inclusivity?
I think so. Simran, this has been answered.
You were in the middle of this question only, Sahil.
No, no, actually, I was in the middle of the question where you said, like, can you double down? So I had answered this question by saying that cultural
अच्छा,
preferences
ठीक
and
है, ठीक है,
lifestyle.
that I might, ठीक है, might be,
So
might be.
टेक्नोलॉजिकल
Because
एडवांसमेंट की बात हो रही है, जहाँ पर सीजीएम की बात कर रहा है, सीजीएम की बात पर द कॉन्वर्सेशन काइंड ऑफ ग्रो. सो या.
बिकॉज़ इसका जो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ही है वो ये एक्सेस टू हेल्थ केयर रिसोर्सेज़ वाला क्वेश्चन है। सो
ओके,
आई
तो
थिंक आई प्रीटी मच आस्क्ड यू एवरीथिंग दैट आई हैड। ठीक है
या
फिर।
आई थिंक वी कैन काइंड ऑफ गो अहेड विद दिस इटसेल्फ इन दैट केस.
ऑल
या.
राइट, ऑल राइट। थैंक यू सो मच साहिल।
So,
थैंक यू फॉर योर टाइम।
okay, bye bye.